So this branch comes crashing down at like 3 in the morning last night and wakes me and my wife up. At least that's what I think it was. And she goes back to sleep. But me, now I'm up all night thinking about this tree and how it's maybe dying because it's been abnormally dry and hot this summer. And let's all argue about climate change on our phones because goddamn ain't that fun. To argue about things you as a person have no control over. But 2,000 years ago, before the Industrial Revolution, before the internal combustion engine, you'd have a drought and the Nile wouldn't flood and people would starve, or maybe it flooded too much and your hut got washed away, and that's because you are not in control. We like to think we are, we like to think we have control over anything, but control is just an illusion. Most of our lives will be spent reacting to stuff, fixing things, and cleaning up mini disasters. Some of the most important things in your whole life you have absolutely no control over and don't decide for yourself. Your childhood, where you'll go to school, your friends, family, even what flag you'll salute. All these things are completely random, at least from your perspective. We have dating apps now, but that's not control. That's just bullshit algorithms and spaghetti code. But even if you could control these things, would you really want to? Maybe that's kind of the fun and mystery of life, not knowing exactly what to expect next. I didn't plan on making this video, I'm just reacting to circumstances. I've got other films to make, some I've been working on for years, but if we're being honest here, those all started as ideas and reactions to things beyond my control too. If we really want to get deep into the philosophical weeds, everything that's ever happened inside your mind, all the decisions you've ever made, your thoughts, opinions, have all just been the result of a never-ending process that you don't control. One that's been going on since the Big Bang and maybe even before that. Probably, maybe, I don't know, ask Sam Harris. This shot could have been a good shot, but the framing is a bit off, and that's filmmaking. Sometimes the shot is out of focus, or the camera's shaky, and you try to control these things the best you can, but you can't control gravity or physics. You can only tame little bits of them at a time. I've written a few good songs in my day, and every time that happens, I couldn't tell you exactly where it comes from. It's almost like the universe is using you as a conduit to express some small meaning. It's the same with writing, art. Maybe that's how athletes feel too sometimes. People talk about being in the zone, but what is that really but relinquishing a little bit of conscious control? All the ego, all the pride, greed, the ugly human emotions, what are they and where did they come from if not this idea that you can control not only yourself but other people, whole countries, perhaps even the entire world? Make things in your special image, but you can't. No one can, and the true evils of history have often been engineered by men who thought they could. But this tree, man, this fucking tree. How can I even get up there and cut down the branches so they don't fall on my roof when this thing dries out? Rent a cherry picker. It's like 30 feet up in the air, and so now I've got a problem I can't really control without spending a lot of time and money on it and an impending sense of doom, and that's really the great burden of the human mind, the great burden of consciousness, being able to look ahead, sense danger, and be absolutely powerless to do anything about a lot of it. Now it's useful, it comes in handy to plan, to squirrel nuts away for the winter, but goddamn, those things you can't do anything about. And the things you can't do anything about are most of the things in life because we are not in control. And we know this. And so how do we cope? The endless pursuit of distraction and comfort. What is entertainment? What is dicking around on the internet, YouTube, music, film, books? What are all these things but an escape from your life, a brief reprieve from having to deal with a million nameless problems that you have little or no control over? And even in that space, the world of entertainment, fantasy, and escape, do you have any control? I used to collect CDs. I used to seek out new music, but now algorithms largely choose what I consume, and it's usually the same things on repeat. And of course, you can choose to opt out of new technologies, but hardly anybody does, because they're so goddamn convenient, and eventually that's just what everyone uses. Did you choose this video, or did it choose you? There are better ideas out there, more insightful, more eloquent, more beautifully made, but before you click away and I disappear forever, know that you're probably never going to find any of them. YouTube's never going to show them to you. It's going to keep showing you crap because you're not in control. Google might not even be in control. I don't think the YouTube engineers fully understand what they've created because the algorithm is a complex process, a system, And once you've achieved that level of complexity, you can tweak parameters and variables, but you can't really control it anymore, not when your entire platform and the world itself is made up of billions of individuals interacting in unpredictable ways. And that's what life is. A system, a process that's always shifting, always moving, and although you have no real control over it or over anything that matters much, you are a part of it. You can take the view that everything you do is meaningless, sure, but then that means everything is meaningless because we're all connected, man, in ways both large and small. Just because you can't measure the impact of your life, can't quantify it, that doesn't mean you haven't had one. We might not be in control individually, but in some cosmic sense, perhaps we're all somehow steering the ship together. Maybe that's what makes humans the somewhat noble creatures that we are. To wake up every day and be willing to participate in life, to face the unknown and the uncertain disasters that are almost certain to come takes courage. At the very least, just living everyday life takes courage, and it's a choice, and there maybe is your small semblance of control. Courage, patience, and a little bit of hope. That's all of us. We all have these qualities to some degree. We all have to. Some of us might be rich and some of us might be poor, some young and some old, but it doesn't really matter because given the same set of circumstances, we'd all be and do the same things because none of us are in control. So what is life then? Well, that's for you to decide. It could be a never-ending science experiment or the magnum opus of some supreme being we'll probably never meet. Who really knows? But personally, I like to think it's an experience, a ride. You have to be in it for that ride because it's never going to go exactly how you planned or exactly how you wanted it to. It doesn't for anyone. There'll be good times and bad ones, surprises, sickness, health, all that stuff. And if you ever really feel bad about the choices you made, you have regrets, maybe you even can't live with yourself, just remember, couldn't really have gone any other way because you were not in control.